بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا مولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Apologies for the late start this morning. We still have lots of setup issues in first year. Hopefully soon we'll sort that stuff out. Bismillah. This first period we do with the Mazeedfeehi. The Mazeedfeehi lesson. And the good news is that hopefully next week, inshallah, you finally get your Sarf textbook, inshallah. So I know some of you waiting for a long time, but it's coming, inshallah. Either next week, inshallah, the book is ready, or next week, inshallah. Okay. So what did you guys do last week? What did you do last week with Mawlana Yazid? Who can tell me? What do you do in the Mazeedfeehi? You did a revision.
Bab 2 and some Quranic ayat.
Bab 2 or Bab 1? Bab 1. Bab 1.
1 and 2.
Doctor, I think Doctor worked ahead of time. Because others said they didn't do Bab 2. Okay, Bismillah. So, okay, so let's start with okay, so if you can take out your table and just quickly remind me what all the headings mean on the table. So if I look at the first heading, which is Bab. What does Bab mean?
Scale.
So Bab literally obviously is a door or an entrance, but here we're going to say Bab is going to be a scale. A scale. And then the first one is Fa'ala. The heading there is Al-Fi'l al-Madi. What does Fi'l al-Madi mean? Past tense verb. The past tense verb, Fa'ala. Let's go down for me quickly. Fa'ala. Fa'alu. A little bit faster, inshallah, bismillah. Fa'ala, fa'alu, fa'alat, fa'alna, fa'alta, fa'altum, fa'alti, fa'altunna, fa'altu, fa'alna. Okay, Madi, past tense verb. Next one is Al-Fi'l al-Mudari', which is the present tense verb. Yaf'alu, bismillah. Yaf'alu, yaf'aluna, taf'alu, yaf'alna, taf'alu, taf'aluna, taf'alina, taf'alna, af'alu, naf'alu. Okay. Next one is al-mastar. What's a mastar? A verbal noun. So is a verbal noun a verb or a noun? A verbal noun is a noun. A noun. It's the name of the verb. The name of the verb. So daraba yadribu, what is the name of the verb?
Darban.
Didn't you have homework?
Darban.
It's what? Darban. Daraba yadribu. Darban. What does darban mean?
Eat.
Eating. To get the name of the verb, ing, eating. Then we have ismul fa'il. What's ismul fa'il? The name
Person.
of
The action.
the doer. The name of the doer. Okay. If you're online also, you can check the answers also, inshallah. It is the name of the doer. Just mute each other after you answer. Inshallah. Okay. So what is the name of the doer for daraba?
Darib.
Let's say Darib. Why did I say Darib? The heater. Darib is the heater or the striker. Good. Next one is Ismul Maf'ul. What's Ismul Maf'ul? The one the action is being.
Then upon.
What is the Ismul Maf'ul for Daraba?
Madroob.
Madroob. So what is the meaning of Madroob?
That which has been hit.
Okay, good. So if there's a batsman and the batsman is batting, who's the opening batsman in South Africa these days? I watched cricket in like last time I watched cricket was like Hansikul years playing that. This is the last time I watched cricket. Who's the opening batsman in South Africa these days? Or who's any batsman? I don't even know one batsman.
A.B. de Villiers.
Okay, AB is he still playing? Are you retired from test cricket? That's what they use. Anyway, if AB de Villiers is batting and he hits a 6, is AB de Villiers the Darib or the Madroob? He's a Darib, is the hitter. So where's the Madroob? The ball is
The ball.
The ball is the Madroob. Next one, Al-Amr. What's Amr? A command. Command. So what's the Amr for Daraba? Idrib, which means what? Hit. So if you understand, say Idrib, AB, Idrib. That means hit the ball. AB. No. And a Nahyu. What's the meaning of Nahyu? It is? A Nahyu is what? Okay, the meaning is prohibition. It's a don't do. So how do you say don't do for Daraba? La tadrib. Okay. La tadrib. So those are the basic headings. Those headings are going to stay in the same format throughout the Mazeedfeehi. So you're all comfortable with those headings or any questions about those headings? Okay. So before I get into it, I know you don't have a copy of this, but don't worry, inshallah, we can just watch the screen for now. Each of the scales, if you look at the screen now, each of the scales, just conceptually, why do we do Mazeedfeehi? Because each of the scales, this will be actually your draft textbook, so you'll get it, inshallah, or you'll email it to you. Each of the scales has a different quality. So if you were first year last year, let's say you learned like the base meaning of the scale. Like Daraba means to hit, Nasara means to help, Fataha means to open, Samia means to hear or to listen, and so on. You heard the base meaning. As we change the form of the scale, the quality of the word changes. The quality of the word changes. Now, as you can see on the right-hand side, first of all, there is Bab 1 to 10. These are all Roman numerals. So in the Roman numerals, I don't know why it's like this, but this is just the convention. So even hence we're also going to find Roman numerals. So we're going to keep it Roman numerals, inshallah. The Roman numerals was actually like, the Arabs came up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Muslims. Because the Romans were still making multiplication like this. Imagine you must write 10 million, 5,000, 500,000. You can have like a lot of X's and B's and 1s. You can imagine those kids in school. So the Muslims came up with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, so the Roman numeral 1 is 1, 2 is 2 alifs, 2 eyes, 3 eyes is 3, 1 V is 4. So I don't know what the exact rule is, but if the small one becomes before the big one, you minus it. Because V is 5 and 1 is 1, but the 1 comes first. So it's 4. V is 5, and you can see V1 now, you add the 1, so 6. 1 after 5. Oh yeah, 1 before 5, 1 minus 1. V2, 2, 5, 6, 7. V3, 5, 6, 7, 8. And X is 10. So 1 minus 10 is 9, and X is 10. So there are 10 abwab. Technically speaking, the Mazeedfeehi is from 2 till 10. Because 1 is just the base one. So from 2 to 10 is the Mazeed. Mazeed means what? Zada Yazidu means what? Allah Mazidna ilma.
Increase.
Al Mazeed means there is increase fihi in it. there are increased letters in it. So each of these have a quality or meaning. We're going to focus now on the second bab. The first bab is fa'ala. The second bab is fa'ala. Let's say it all together. Fa'ala. Again. The only difference is that there's a shadda on the middle letter. Fa'ala, shadda on the middle letter in terms of form. What does the second bab do to the word? It can do one of four things to the word. One of four things. Inshallah, we're going to send this to you. The most common thing it can do is to be there for causation. Causation. So an easy one is nazala. On the first bab means what? Nazala. Nazala on the first bab means to come down, to descend. So if you're on a bus and you're on a plane, you're walking down the stairs, you're making nazala. You the person are nazala rajulun. So he's coming down from the plane. So it means the person is descending. On the second bar, one of the qualities is causation. So what's the meaning of that then? To cause something to come down. So you not yourself cause. If I say nazzala rajulun, let's say al-qalama, something. Al-dalwa is a bucket. What's the meaning of that? If I say nazala on the first bab, or rajulu, it means the man came down, the man descended. If I say nazzala ar-rajulu ad-dalwa, the man caused the bucket to go down. In other words, the man lowered the bucket. You with me? It is therefore causation. It is therefore causation. For example, Kadiba on the first bar means to lie. Means to lie. Man tells a lie. Kadiba rajul. The man lied. If I say kadhaba rajulu, what do I mean? The man caused someone else to lie. Or the man deemed someone else a liar. You with me? That is kadhaba. One of the very common words in the Quran. Like sadaqa on the first bar means to be truthful. Al-Baqarah Siddiq, be truthful. But saddaqa means what? To cause someone else to be truthful or to deem someone else truthful. You with me? So someone speaks saddaqa means that you deem them to be truthful. You deem them to be truthful. So causation is going to be you guys did the last week this year? This new stuff. You can't cover old stuff every time.
Yes.
Now. So causation is going to be the first quality of this bab. First quality of this bab. The second quality of this bab is going to be for intensification. Not as common. Not as common. But qatala means to kill. You put on the second bab, it becomes what? Qatala. Becomes? And now what does it become? Qatala becomes what on the second bab? Where's the
Tala.
Online students, are you
Massacre.
It becomes qattala.
Oh, you know what? The sun is coming through the projector. No wonder I can't hear you. So like a same as system, built-in output. Can you answer again quickly this?
Qattala.
MashaAllah. You know, you're playing through the projectors here. We had a voice coming from the sky here. We were very confused what is happening in this moment as the voice just descended upon us. But now you're coming through the speakers, MashaAllah. Qattala is for intensification. So it doesn't mean kill. It means to massacre. It means to cause genocide. It means to like slay people. It means like to. That's what qattala means. Then the third quality is that the second bab can have the same meaning as the first bab. For example, badala means to change or exchange, and badala also means to change or exchange. And then the fourth thing is that the second bab can sometimes have a completely new meaning. For example, in the word sahara on the first bab means to mock or make fun of someone. لا تسخر قوم من قوم. But in the second bab, sakhara has nothing to do with mocking. Sakhara means to subjugate, to put something under someone's control. Like Allah has made sakhara of the moon and the sun and all of those things, take it under control. So those are the qualities of the second bab. The second bab occurs 1,300 times in the Quran. In its various forms, it occurs 1,300 times in the Quran, making it the second most common bab in the Quran of the Mazeedfeehi. The second most common, so inshallah we learned well because it's the second most common bab in the Quran. So do you have this sheet with you? You have the sheet with you? Okay. So for the second years, mashallah, it's going to be the first time we're doing this. For the rest of you, it's revision. It's a revision, inshallah. So today's mission is just one thing. We just have to learn the line across. Okay. So let's say the first three words together, inshallah. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan. Again. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan. As you're saying, try to memorize. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan. Again. Okay. No, if you are down there, you must be saying it in your every order. So what are those three words? Fa'ala is the fi'l madi. So instead of fa'ala, we have fa'ala, the fi'l madi. Yufa'ilu is what? Is the mudari. So instead of yaf'alu, you have yufa'ilu is the fi'l mudari. And taf'ilan is what? Masdar. One of the differences between the Mazeedfeehi and the first bab is that in the first bab the masdar doesn't have a pattern. Let's look it up in the dictionary. From bab 2 to 10, the masdar has a pattern. Actually, everything has a pattern. No need for the dictionary. Taf'ila. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ila. Say the next person. Say the person next to you from memory quickly. Next person. So check all the harakat is right there. Like tajweed class. Okay, again all together inshallah. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan. Again. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan. One more time. Then the ismul fa'il is going to be mufa'ilun, and the ismul maf'ul is going to be mufa'alun. That ayn there, with the shadda, the one has a I and the one has a A. Mufa'ilun, mufa'alun. Let's say those two together, inshallah. Mufa'ilun, mufa'alun. Again. 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 From the beginning. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan mufa'ilun mufa'alun. Again. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan mufa'ilun mufa'alun. Again. Say it to your partner, inshallah, next to you. From memory. If you're online, say it to your family then. Someone online, inshallah, bismillah, wants to go? Someone online, inshallah, bismillah, wants to go? From memory. Anybody?
Assalamualaikum Maulana.
Okay,
Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan mufa'ilun mufa'alun.
good, mashallah. Another person, inshallah, from memory. Where's my regulars from last year?
Al-Karam Maulana.
Khair Nisa, mashallah. Ahlan wa sahlan. Bismillah.
Shukran. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan fa'alun fa'ilun.
So Khair Nisa, mashallah, just the last two is the mu first, eh?
Mufa'ala mufa'ilun.
Okay, mufa'ilun, mufa'alun.
Mufa'alun mufa'ilun.
The E comes before the A. Mufa'ilun, mufa'alun.
Oh, okay.
So then
شكرا مولانا.
lekker fijn kijken, no? Mashallah, mashallah. Who's next online?
Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan mufa'ilun mufa'alun.
Mashallah, Dr. Ibrahim, mashallah. Awesome, mashallah.
مفعل.
Okay, let's all say together, inshallah. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan mufa'ilun mufa'alun. Again. Okay, last two, inshallah. Fa'il is the amr, is the command. Fa'il. Again, all together. Fa'il. All together. Again. Fa'il. And the nahyu, the prohibition is la tufa'il. All together. Again. Again. The last two. Fa'il la tufa'il. Again, all together. Again. Fa'il la tufa'il. You say the whole line together. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan mufa'ilun mufa'alun. Fa'il la tufa'il. All together again. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan mufa'ilun mufa'alun. Fa'il la tufa'il. Okay. So remember the part, inshallah, bismillah. Online, inshallah. Who was first year last second year only? Second years, inshallah. Bismillah. Second years, bismillah.
فعل يفعل تفعيلا مفعل مفعل فعل لا تفعل.
MashaAllah, excellent, Zimina. Who else wants to go? Dashi, want to try?
We can't go from memory.
Okay, from the page, bismillah.
Fa'ala yufa'ilu yaf'iluna
Taf'ilan.
yaf'ilan yufa'ilun yufa'alun fa'il la tufa'ilu.
MashaAllah, I'm not saying the voice not to everybody. You can listen and practice, inshallah. Who else is there? Sister Khawa, bismillah. From memory or from the page?
Okay, bismillah. Fa'alun yufa'ilun taf'ilan mufa'ilun mufa'alun fa'ilun la taf'ilun la tufa'ilun.
So, mashallah, well done. Just the only thing is don't put the tanween at the end there. So it's fa'ala, not fa'alan. And you fa'ilu. Okay, excellent, mashallah. Sister Saida, bismillah. From memory or from the page?
فعل يفعل تفعيلا مفعل مفعل فعل لا تفعل.
Okay, mashallah, mashallah. Who else wants to go online? Who else is here from first year, last year? I must remember now. Okay, mashallah. Okay, mashallah. It's all, let me send you a voice note. Of course, is this Dawrah class? No? Okay, so I'll put this in the next video. Okay, bismillah, we can say it 3 times, inshallah, all together. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan mufa'ilun mufa'alun. Fa'il la tufa'il. Again. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan mufa'ilun mufa'alun. Fa'il la tufa'il. Again. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan mufa'ilun mufa'alun. Fa'il la tufa'il. Okay, homework inshallah is to memorize that, to be able to say that smoothly, inshallah. I'm not going to give you more homework than that. That's just the first thing what you do is just do that for homework. Memorize that, say it completely smoothly, whether you're second year, third year, 10th year, be able to say it smoothly from memory, inshallah ta'ala. And Hasina, Bismillah, the question.
Assalamu alaikum, Maulana, everybody. You know, I can say it, I can memorize it, but the minute I put 1 and 2 together, then I get a bit confused. So how can we reinforce the 1 to the 2 to the 3? Because it can get confusing.
Oh, you mean the different verbs together?
Yeah, like if you're just going to tell me now, say, Bab 1, okay, I have to think again. Oh, that is yaf'alu. Oh, that is your fa'ilu. That one is easy, but when you come to the lower ones, as Maulana will see, I get a bit confused. So I want like a rule. How can I remember, you know, besides just learning?
Sometimes like when you have like your second child, your third child, you can't remember the birth date anymore. You know, you have the first child, you remember the birth date, the second and third one, you must ask, when is this child born again? You know, at least you know the month more or less, somewhere in October, towards the end, but 21, 25, 27, not sure. So there's no shortcut. It's just basically, it's like Quran ayat. Sometimes they're confusing, sometimes they're not confusing, but with practice, inshallah, there'll be some clarity. But what I would suggest is that we're going to try something different. We're going to try to focus this year on first doing the most common ones. So we're going to do 2, 4, and then 10. Maybe 2, 3. I'll try inshallah. But we might just change the sequence to do the most common ones first. So focus on those ones first, inshallah. But just with practice, it takes lots of practice actually. It's not the easy thing. Last thing about Mazeedfeehi, if you don't know your scales, you don't have to drop out. Okay, because I know it's a difficult thing and you feel like overwhelmed. I don't know my scales. Welcome to the club, mashallah. Most students struggle with their scales. Even full-time students struggle with their scales. Sometimes like they're full-time, every day in class, they still struggle with their scales. So it's normal, inshallah. But understanding the mechanics is very important. Because in the Quran, it's not to say this on this scale, and so on. So it's going to be very important. Okay, barakallah. So let's end our Sarf lesson with that, and maybe just spend a few minutes on the reader, inshallah, because we're a little late start. But tell me on the reader,